I'm back. Phone call's done. Sorry about that, but it's somebody who wants to pay me to do political work. So I'm happy to make some money. So I'll wait and see if people will come on here. What is it? Oh, yikes. Nobody here yet. Oh, that's funny. I don't know if people are still in the other video, still commenting. Hi, Miley. What was I talking about? I was talking about Kent, right? And asking people to write to Kent. So I'll get that posted. Or you can also go to Kent's Facebook page, which is Justice for Kent. It's the number 4. I've got go. It's taking forever. Oh no, we weren't talking about Kent. We were talking, as I said, for Kent page. Paste. I told you to paste. What does Christina say? For those of you asking about Marnie, I highly encourage you to join the CI group. It's opened my eyes very quickly to Marnie's innocence. Thank you, Christina. And I know that Marnie absolutely appreciates the people who have been commenting in that CI group and how people are actually looking at the evidence and looking at it realistically, because Marnie is all about the facts and she doesn't, want any fluff and, all that. She just tell it to her straight. And she's very used to everybody thinking she's guilty. So she appreciates the people that are in that CI group. And in order to get in the CI group, you have to join through the marnieying.com website and pay $10. And that $10 goes towards the fees for the experts who work on the cases that WMP Justice Review takes on. And so right now, the main case that Justice Review is working on is Marnie's case. So there are a huge amount of bills that still need to be paid in Marnie's case. And we don't know how much more there's going to be because it's going to depend what happens with this filing. So is there going to be enough to just, they set her free? New trial is a whole bunch more money. And Tammy, who is the founder of All Things Justice, she is looking into a few other cases. So this $10 goes towards paying for lawyers and ballistic expert and blah, blah, it's a long list. I am also part of the Justice Review team. For full disclosure, I'm not paid anything. So there's no bill from me to pay. So I'm just, I visit with Marnie. I discuss things with Tammy. I'm just the advocate. So I was originally brought on to be like the social media person because of how big Stephen Avery Project is on Facebook. But I don't do anything social media wise on Marnie's case as of right now. Maybe that will all change once a filing happens, and because once the filing happens, this thing's going to blow up huge and everybody everywhere is going to hear about it because there's somebody famous involved. So it's going to make big news. So, but there's no fee for my services, because I know, because of me being the person that's always attacking everybody else trying to make money on things, they're going to accuse that this is me trying to make money. But this $10 goes to Tammy at Words Matter Publishing or WMP Justice Review. That gets used for the case. It never comes through my hands. I have nothing to do with it. Oh, I thought I posted the Kent thing and it didn't go. Let me go back to Laura says, I said before, basically regarding Marnie, Kent, etc., the media, etc., only show what they want you to know. Right. And so that is something that is used against Stephen and Brendan from guilters, that will say that Making a Murderer was just this one-sided thing. But it wasn't. Those documentarians wanted all sides shown. Just the other side refused to participate. So that's why you had the scenes of the press conferences that Sweaty Sweat Sweat and Michael Halbach did and all that. That was the only way the documentarians are able to show you anything from the other side, plus what you saw from court. And most of us who are Team Stephen or Team Brendan, we're not here solely because of Making a Murderer. That may have kicked it off, but we've all done our own investigating. So, and if I saw something along the way that made me believe Stephen was guilty, I'd be out, because I'm not going to be here supporting some guilty guy. So no matter how Stephen treats me or what he says about me or his family or whatever, it doesn't change why I'm here. Stephen is innocent. What's been done to him is wrong, and he should be free. So I am no different than any of the rest of you here that supports Stephen. You don't talk to Stephen. You don't see their family. Does that change you on your support of the guy? So it should show in my case how much more I support this, that I'm going to take the beating that I get from his family and his fans to continue supporting him. But in Marnie's case, more so than Kent, because Kent's case is not a well-known case, even here in Illinois. It's a blip, because also it's not a murder. People really get into the murder cases, not a guy that assaulted his wife, accused him of assaulting her because she just wanted to take everything he had. So you have to do your due diligence. You can't ever go by what you see or read solely. Look at things from both sides. Look at it, all angles. And so that's what I ask you to do in Marnie's case, is everything that's out there media-wise shows she's guilty, and she's not. You just haven't seen the other side first. So before you say, guilty, wait and see the other stuff that comes out. But Laura, to go with what you've said, Making a Murderer was something that made me, because I've watched Cold Case, and I have on my TV, like my background shows is always the ID channel, all these true crime shows, but it's now made me second guess all those that I see. How is this being edited? What is the narrative they're trying to push? I used to watch those shows and would be, oh my God, good thing they got that person. Now you got to question what really is there. So you have to then I know there's people that don't like Facebook, not y'all, because obviously you like it, you're here. find that person's Facebook support group and see what that side's saying, you know? It's tough. Okay, he is awesome. He's a great guy who often struggles personally with votes because of his district. Yes, we need you to help him. Okay, good. That's because somebody has asked me. I do political stuff, and starting next Tuesday is when petition season starts for candidates. And an organization contacted me that they want me to campaign for this guy who's a current state representative, but it's nowhere near where I live in Illinois. I've never heard of this guy. So I don't know where he stands on issues. So I messaged my state rep, whom I love and adore, and asked her, I was asked to work for this guy. And so now she's just saying yes, because she knows me and what I stand for. So that's all I needed to hear now. And that's what my call was about. Laura, things are easily edited. Yeah. Miley says, Marnie has nothing to gain by killing Ronnie. There's only one person to benefit, and his name is Sean. Yep. I've talked with Marnie at length, and trust me, there was no jealousy there. No. I can't wait till the filing, and so I can fully go into things on the case, because I'm such a blabbermouth. I'm somebody who likes to, I don't want to hold secrets. I want to, I want things to be out in the open, and so it's hard for me. But I have talked to her. I've questioned her a lot about Ronnie. So yeah, there's absolutely no reason at all that she would have. James, there's nothing going on with Stephen right now. It's now Kathleen has to go to appeals, right? That's where we're going next. So we have to wait for Kathleen to file there. But, Kathleen is stoked to do it. It's something that was always known would have to happen in Stephen's case, that Judge Flowers was never going to overturn her prior judgment. And most wrongful convictions, or is it most or all? Don't hold me to it. You have to go to a higher court to get them out. It's never, hardly ever going to happen where the case started. So, to me, it means that there's no way Stephen would be out this year. Sorry, I should turn sound off stuff. Because our process is too long and stupid. James says, team both, because the two men did not do it. I think it was her boyfriend or a friend. Yeah. I 100% believe both Brendan and Stephen are innocent. I do not think that Brendan has any knowledge that I believe Bobby Dassey is the one that killed Teresa Halbach. I do not believe that Brendan knows that his brother actually did it. I think that is all kept from Brendan. So I don't think it's Brendan purposely taking the fall for his brother. I think that his mother was okay to sacrifice Brendan to protect Bobby and Scott, which is sad. Laura says, have you visited Marnie and Melissa again since last live? I visited them not last week, the week before. And so since I go visit them every other Wednesday, it means I should be going this Wednesday. but I haven't emailed any because I email them and give them the heads up I'm coming, and I haven't emailed them about coming this Wednesday. But I don't think I have anything on my calendar, so I probably should go down. So I visited. What did I do? I was down. That's right. So I was down in Springfield for a political event 2 weeks ago or a week ago or whatever it was. And so the events that I was at was 2 days, was a Tuesday and a Wednesday. So on my drive down there, because the prison is about 30 minutes from Springfield. So on my drive down there on the Tuesday, I went and visited with Marnie. And then when I was coming back on Wednesday, after I had stuff to do Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, I then went and visited. And there's another representative that I asked about this guy, and she likes him too. Good. Good to know that people that I trust like this guy that I'm being asked to work for. Okay. So I visited Melissa then on the Wednesday. Both girls are, because they've both been in for 10 years. They've had enough. They want out. And it's hard because it's the same story for everybody. It's not just Melissa and Marnie, it's Kent, it's Stephen, it's Brendan, it's everybody who's wrongfully accused that you think you're coming up to a date, that you're going to get some answers or some movement, and then you don't. And then here comes another date. And, so like they want to get excited about, oh, this is a date we're being told such and such is happening. But so many times it's been ripped away from them. So it's rough. But they all try to look at the bright side and keep themselves positive. And I guess it's because it's all you have. So here I am, total freedom. And I get depressed about my life on whatever. And then you go, God, do I really have the right to be upset that such and such didn't happen? Because at the end of the day, I'm free. Yet these people have their freedom taken away from them. And they're trying to see the positive side. So maybe I'll be going this Wednesday. I really need to get that figured out and shoot them an email because they don't get it right away. It can take a while before they get it because somebody's got to read it and then approve it and then send it through and blah, 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 blah. And that's a thing to remember too with your mail, if you send them mail. So like the girls' prison, their mail system there is so screwed up that they're not getting stuff that they should be getting, or they're sending stuff out to people and they're not getting it. If you don't hear from them or anything right away, don't automatically assume they're ignoring you. It may take a month or more for them to even get your letter, if they're going to get it at all. Because it has been suspected. I don't think it's been proven that sometimes they're just throwing their mail out because people don't want to process it. So that's actually something that I am in the process of working on here in Illinois, because we have a new governor and his wife, as well as our new lieutenant governor. They say that criminal justice reform is their number one issue. And not only is criminal justice reform their number one issue, but it's women who are incarcerated. And then not only is it women, their focus is on Logan Correctional, where Melissa and Marnie are. So when I saw our lieutenant governor at that event in Springfield, I said to her that I want to talk to her about stuff that is going on in Logan. That's not right. And I said, but this obviously isn't the time to talk. And so she told me to email her to get a meeting scheduled. So I emailed, but I haven't heard back as of yet, and who knows how long that will take. But I'm going to fight for not just Melissa and Marnie, but all the women that are incarcerated in Logan Correctional, because both women have filled me in on things that are going on in that prison that are horrible and should not be happening. So, okay, MK and Juliana, you say you want to fix Logan. I'm going to talk to you about it, and we're going to work on that. So, to summarize, now that I'm down at the bottom of this, nothing new going on in any cases. We're still just waiting. Magnet Guy is still trying to sell his wares. Just ignore it. Please don't reach out to him, especially if you're female, because he is preying on women. So just ignore that. Natalie, hi Jax. Since there's nothing new about Stephen and Brendan, can you go into a little more detail on why Marnie is innocent? I don't know an awful lot about the case, but everything I've seen, one-sided documentaries, points to her guilt. Can you explain the evidence you know why she's innocent? Different perspective, etc. I cannot, Natalie. And I know that's a douchebag thing to say. That it's like, hoo-hoo, I know something you don't. But I'm not allowed until her filing. And her filing keeps getting pushed back. But her filing should happen within the next month. Once her lawyer has filed, then we will go live. We will go live with Tammy, because nobody knows this case more than Tammy. Tammy has been studying it the last 3 years. 3 years, I think it's been, that she has been working with Marnie's attorney. Marnie says Tammy knows the case better than Marnie does. So once that filing happens, and there's going to be a press conference when that happens, when the filing happens. So we will then expose all that we can. We're also going to be doing, it will be in that CI group that we've talked about that you have to pay $10 to be in. But we'll be doing a phone call with Marnie in there, where then people are going to be able to talk to Marnie directly and ask what questions that are allowed. Obviously, there's things that she can't talk about, but you will be able to hear from Marnie yourselves. So Natalie says, okay, thanks, Jax. Just wondering, because everything I've seen points to guilt. Keep us updated, etc. Thanks anyway. Oh, and I know, Natalie, I so know, because I was leery at the beginning of this too, because I'm like, she is so guilty. Oh my God. Yeah, because that tape alone. But then with what I know about that tape, it's like, aha. So it's the tape is debunked. So we'll give it all to you. And once that comes out, I still want to hear from you if you think she's guilty and why. Because that will only help us with Marnie's case as well. What questions are there on that? Why do you think she's guilty? So, but just wait until we get all the information. They're out there. There's also a book that's being written on Marnie's case. I do not know when that's going to be done and out. So, yeah. But it should be, Natalie, in the next month. So, hopefully, knock on wood, because I feel horrible for Marnie that things get pushed back, because she wants it out there too. Kitty says, I can't believe the family is still allowing this magnet man to continue. It makes everyone involved around him look like scum. I think, Kitty, though, has the family really done anything to push these magnets? Because even when you look at, there's only 14 people that have the magnets. Have we ever posted that list here? Because we have the list of the 14 people who actually have the magnets. There's no family on there. But Carol and Richard are, and they're the ones that are pushing it, and they're the ones that are going to take your money. So, I truly think for Sandy, who's pushing the magnets, Sandy is doing as ordered by Stephen. And Stephen wants any kind of awareness he can find out there on his case. So, and there's no money to be made on that, as far as I know, to Sandy, except for then she preys upon the supporters as well to try and give her money for her basement. But I digress. Yeah, it's when it's been shown that this magnet guy has been preying on women and sending them topless photos and saying, because I don't think we've even posted all that we have that he was saying to women. It is not good. I wouldn't be saying all that I say if I didn't see this stuff myself. So this guy is not good. So stay away. Jessica, Marnie's attorney is Jed Stone. And so Jed Stone is a known attorney here in Illinois. He's out of Lake County, and he has freed 9 wrongfully convicted. So he doesn't have the 20 that Zellner has, but 9 is still a good number. So Marnie would be number 10 for him. So, and Jed has worked on other corrupt cases in Illinois. Laura says, it's just one of those things. We all want to know what's going on, but we understand that Marnie comes first and we don't want her case to be damaged. But yeah, so frustrating. I know. Jessica says, yes, I thought that at first till you brought attention to it. Yeah, sorry, your phone is whack. Yeah. My stuff changes things all the time when I go to type, and it's like, and then people will flag you on it. I'm never going to be the grammar police. Sorry. Grammar police, and I can read and write, but sometimes I will hit enter or whatever, and it has changed what I type to be something else. Or on my iPad, it will like put the same word twice because it's then putting, like I had a typo, and then it also corrects it and then puts both. So yeah, don't ever. Yeah, not the grammar police here. Hey, Carol Ann. Jillian says, I think sometimes it must be difficult for Stephen to really know what's actually going on the outside or to know what to believe. Yeah, and if I talk to Stephen again, I will do the same thing that I did this last time after he didn't talk to me for so long and then calls me out of the blue. The first thing I said is, Stephen, why don't you ask me when people are repeating things, saying things to you that I'm doing? Why don't you ask me about it? I know. And I know now that Sandy and all those people lied to him and said that I was against his mother getting a washer and dryer, which is not what I ever said. I said the family should stop preying on the supporters for it and take care of her themselves. I know Stephen is happy to have the supporters to buy the washer and dryer. If supporters want to give Dolores money or A washer and dryer showed up at her house? Yay. I'm not telling anybody to give money that gets filtered through Carla or Chuck or Earl. Nope. They're not to be trusted, nor does Steven trust them. Steven has talked so much shit about them to me, which I'm sure Steven's talked shit about me to them. So Steven brings on this drama. He keeps it going from both sides. So, but he just flips and flaps, you know, so he'll talk to me for a while and piss them off, and he loves it, and then he'll go back to them to try and piss me off, which doesn't work because I don't care. Then he'll come back, you know. I have never once said, oh my God, if Steven lets Sandra visit him, I'm not going to support him anymore. But that's what Sandra and Carla said if he put me on the list, that they wouldn't talk to him anymore. Awesome supporters you are. Terry says 9 is better than none. Mm-hmm. Jessica says, I thought she was guilty until you brought awareness to the case. So did I. From what little I had heard back when this happened here, I so like, oh my God, this chick murdered her rival and she was pregnant, and, you know, so, but I didn't pay any attention to the case then. So, and even now, in all that I know about Marnie's case, if some smoking gun was uncovered that showed me without a shadow of doubt that Marnie is guilty, I would go, guilty, and I would be off that case. You know, so I am here for what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And from all the research I have done, Marnie, Kent, Melissa, Steven, and Brendan are all innocent. Terry says, I honestly believe that the drama is entertainment for him stuck in there. It's like watching a soap opera on TV. It is. And these are grown ass adults, you know, and I know I'm just as childish as the next one, you know, because I know people get upset with me when I call Kratz sweaty sweat sweat. And they say that takes away from people giving me any consideration that I can't be professional, you know. I'm childish. I'm petty. I can be quite nasty. I'm not going to say that I'm above drama. You know, yep, bring it on. You got some juice to give me? Throw it my way. Love to hear it. So I don't try to pretend I'm above it, but a lot of this stuff is so stupid, and Steven could have put an end to it years ago, and he doesn't. So, but that's why, again, I support his innocence and will continue on in that way. Sometimes I dip my toe into it, into the drama, when I just want to make sure people aren't being taken advantage of. So, you know, so like the most recent, the magnet thing, or their YouTube videos that they're just making a profit off of, and Steven's not making the money off of that. If they were upfront about it, and it's like, woohoo, this is my business, and I've got this show, and, you know, I'm going to make money on it, that I can respect that if you're going to be honest on it. But trying to pretend that you're not in this for money, yet you monetize your videos, and where's that money going? What's it going for? Oh, it's going in your pocket. Don't lie. You know, I've got a show that I'm supposed to do that I haven't done any work into, and guess what? I'll be making money off of that. if I do that show. Ads will be sold just like any other show, and I get a percentage of those ads after whatever the costs are of the show. I'll be making that money, and I'll be keeping some of that money, but I'm also going to look for good things to do with it because I really want to help the wrongfully accused. So, and I'm trying to organize an event right now in my activism world that it has the potential to make a lot of money. All right. But I'm raising it for different community organizations. Money does not go in my pocket. But I have told people that if this comes to fruition, I want 5% to go to Justice Review Team to help pay for those cases. And I will still collect 0. But that's going to be my choice of I want 5% of it to go there. So, but I'll be completely honest. If the show happens, that I'm going to keep some of that money from my work. So they should just own up to that on their YouTube thing. We're making this money. This is money for us. Don't lie. Jillian, I am human. Rebecca says, but we love you for it, Jack. Straight to the point. Laura says, we all love drama, LOL. Does anyone know how Brendan is doing? Woohoo, nice. That's on another event I'm doing that just came in. I know nothing about how Brendan is doing. I've got, so other than people who are in those groups that then let me know how Brendan is doing, I don't know. From what I have heard, the prison he was transferred to, Oshkosh, is a much better prison for him. So, but I believe at that prison, they're not allowed to take photos. So that's why you don't see any photos of anybody visiting him and such now. And at that prison, they're able to have like catered dinners or something with him, that can come in from a restaurant. So that's good for Brendan. He doesn't know the nastiness of his mother. And so all Brendan knows is the love of his mother, because I have no doubt his mother loves him. So I'm happy for Brendan if he's getting these good visits for now, until Kathleen Zellner blows it open. And, so cross that bridge when we come to it, for poor Brendan to find out that his mother's been keeping him in prison all these years to protect other people. Terry says the difference is you own it. Well, and Terry, I tell you guys in gossip all the time, if you hear something, see something anywhere that people say about me, because I know there's accusations about me places, bring it to me. And I'll tell you my side of it, and you can take it or leave it. Jessica says, well, I know you can't go into details, but the little bit you've discussed the case thus far, as I know you can't go into everything, but it's eye-opening. Yeah, I mean, so in Marnie's case, there was a thing months ago so there was this round table where all the different experts were there. And so then each expert filed their report and then showed what evidence, physical evidence, and all this stuff they have for each of these, so we had somebody that's an audio expert, and the ballistics expert, and the lie detector, all that stuff. And there was one report that completely blew me away. Oh, that's a wrong choice of words there, blew me away. there's no way it could have been Marnie. And it's a way obvious thing. It's not like it's a super secret expert thing that came up with. It's a total common sense thing. But since nobody previously cared, nobody has showed that. So, yeah, when you see that. Jillian says, I wonder if he ever got into the dog program. Oh, the dog program upsets me. Not in Brendan's case, but in both Melissa and Marnie's cases, because their cases involve a child. They're not allowed to be in the dog program. And it's something that absolutely Melissa would be so good at and would love to do. And she's not allowed to be around the dogs that come in there in the dog program. And that just makes me ache. Melissa so loves dogs. And her dog, Oreo, isn't doing well. And Melissa knows that Oreo's not doing well. So both of Melissa's grandmothers died last year. And now Oreo's not doing well. And, it just sucks. Julie says, I've tried to find WMP on my Roku and have zero luck. Do you know exactly what the search title should be entered to find it? Or if it is only available when it's live? I don't know anything about Roku, Julie, but it's called WMP Space TV. I have to look into that. I know, I don't know if all my TVs are Roku capable, but I know when I turn on my bedroom TV, it says Roku on there, but I've never looked into that. But I know Tammy has said so far, well, I haven't talked to Tammy in the last week, but I know she said the first week it went live, it did really well. So, but yeah, it's WMP Space TV. And then there's also a WMP TV YouTube. So the shows are going up on there as well for those that don't have Roku. But I haven't looked into any of it, so I know nothing about it. I haven't watched a show. I'm not a YouTube person. You know, I don't know anything about YouTube. So, but yeah, something I'm going to need to learn if I'm going to do a show on that channel. Hello, Shelly. Oh, and let me tell you, did I tell you about, so Tammy wants me to come up with a name for my show. And, but then Tammy said she wanted it including my name. No, just a space, Julie, no hyphen. WMP, one word, and then TV, second word. She wants my name in the title, which I feel really douchebag about. So then Tammy had suggested the name of the show be Just Jax, which I thought was cute because it makes me think of Will and Grace, Just Jax. And so then on my visit with Marnie, I told her what Tammy's idea for the show was, Just Jax, and Marnie liked it. And then she said, how about Justice with Jax? So what do y'all think of that? Justice with Jax. Because I wouldn't just be covering the wrongfully accused. I would also be going into all the issues that I fight for. All the different human rights, animal rights, all that. So, which would also be justice. So yeah, so I would do shows where, you know, I would have guests on, like we've done with Stephen Avery Project and such, and on doing that, you know, that. we would be doing things like an episode. We could focus on something in Stephen's case that we want to rip apart and go over that evidence, things like that. So, I know, Terry, and actually, so one of my BFFs is a gay guy. And so when the title came to me from Tammy, he's the guy that I go to and talk to him about everything. And he's also a writer. He actually writes for Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano has her own publication, and he's a writer for her, but he's not really writing it now because he's running for state representative. I said to him, I'm like, is the LGBT community going to say I'm like co-opting, just Jack, and he said, no, I'd be fine. Because I need Ken on things because I'm somebody who, this might come as a shock to you guys, but I'm white. I'm white and I'm straight, and Ken is black and gay. So what I want to make sure that I'm not being insensitive to, an opposite group, I pass it by him. And this is, and he said no, he actually loved Just Jacks. But I figured with it being called Justice with Jacks, I can still play up the Just Jacks, And so I had and when you say Just Jack on Will and Grace, it's got the jazz hands, and I'm like, it could be the peace symbol, Just Jacks, but then I'm not a crook, so I don't. But I've done nothing for the show. Tammy keeps, telling me I need to do stuff for the show, and I just keep doing more and more stuff. And, because she just wants me to film segments of it and send it to her, and she'll edit it and put it up, and there you go. Julie says, what's your opinion on the Holtzclaw case, the cop that is accused of multiple rapes? I don't know anything about it, Julie. I'm like so involved with these cases and then the stuff I do politically that I really haven't looked into any other cases. So I don't know about that one. Julie saying, just the facts, Jax. It's something I thought of too. Are you? I'm a Caddyshack fan. We can have a Caddyshack line competition. So, all right. Think I'm down. Yeah, I'm down at the bottom of everything. So I'm gonna go because I have stuff that's been messaging me that I have to deal with. I don't know when I will be live next. If I do, I really need to decide like right now if I'm going to go visit Melissa and Marty on Wednesday so I can give them the heads up. I don't think, I have to look at my schedule and see what it is and see if I'm able to go this Wednesday. So if I visit the girls, I will then go live afterwards and let you guys all know about the visits. Okay. All right. So I am out and I will talk to you all soon.